What I'm going to try and do here is free will and narration and just call it out as I see it playing. So you see these dark colored pickups, two of them. And what those guys are is they're fugitive recovery and task force. And basically they work hand in hand with U.S. Marshals. And what they do is they try to apprehend violent fugitives or suspects. So what they did was they passed the target house. And then they got a little coordination meeting just up ahead. Through their investigations, they usually find people's last known or frequented places of dwelling. This place is a known drug house. It's basically a flop house. So what they do is when they start beating the bushes for suspects and running down those last known addresses or associates, is they'll make usually a hard entry or surround the place and come up in force. And then what they'll do then is they'll try to flip people inside to basically narc on and, coax the person into coming over so that they could get them in a location where the authorities feel like an apprehension can be made easily. So here's the unmarked vehicles rolling up. Quick succession and coordination. There's what I assume to be the big boss man because he's rolling up slow. After a while, you can see this is about 6 minutes after the initial coordination. But after a while here, 10 minutes later, that's when the marked police cars start to show up. Right now, the suspect is not at the house, the guy they're looking for. And these people have a number of dogs there. They breed cane corsos. I'm pretty sure they're using them for fighting. But they have these large breed dogs, so the dog warden shows up. And more police cars. So basically what we have is we have an understaffed department right now. And they can't even sully their hands or bother themselves to investigate any crimes that I report, because everybody knows that burglaries, long guns, and things like that, it's no big deal until blood's on the street. But even the mailman here, federal employee, he can't believe what he's seeing, so he decides to snap a picture. Probably more for posterity. Probably the most interesting thing that happened on his route that day. So here we are about, 3 hours later. 3 hours and change. And finally the dog warden's starting to peel off. They didn't take any custody of any dogs at this point. I guess they were just there to help wrangle them. Of course, the dog warden hardly ever comes by when I report loose dogs in the neighborhood. Last time I called them, there was a bunch of large breed mastiffs running around. People had them off leash. They were going all over the place. And when the dog warden came over, they asked to see my dog's licenses. So I generally don't call them anymore. Animal control is also useless. So, again, after about 3 hours and 20-some minutes, they're done with the softening of the target, we'll call it. So for this part, I'm going to leave the sound on to give you a little bit more idea of what's going on. Typically on any raid, especially in the morning, you don't come in with sirens wailing. You do your fast approach quietly, and then you start setting up, waiting on backup. So first officer responds, gets out, works the radio, stands behind his vehicle for cover, and they're waiting for a tactical call-out team. So here you can, in the next clip, you can hear them. They've got the house pretty well surrounded, and they're telling the subject inside to come out. There's a police vehicle up ahead on the other street, now blocking off the far side, and a T intersection. So again, this is typically what happens. You go in on the Monday, you give the hard knock, you come in, basically have the detectives and task force finger wave the people inside, tell them all the things you can bust them on, and then tell them all they got to do is give up the other guy and give them a call when he's there. So it only took, what, 3 days? Nice early in the morning. Guy's probably sleeping it off. This police officer I recognize, bald fella, he comes up, basically just flexes and toughs talk, or talks tough against all the miscreants in the town, and tells them how it's going to be, and basically makes it a way that he's not going to have to fill out a report or make an arrest. No tactical employment of cover or anything. If you have a barricaded subject and you're blocking off using this much force, I'd expect maybe a little bit of presence of mind to, kind of maneuver tactically, if you will. There's his big dumb Dago partner. He just likes to stand there because he's taller than the other guy, so he can look intimidating. And you can see they're all just kind of sauntering around. A couple of them have grabbed their long guns. They're getting an appraisal of the situation, figure out what kind of posture they have to take, if for nothing else, to at least look like they're doing the right thing. And I can tell you, having been on probably more raids than any of these guys, of course that's overseas in wartime service, when you are surrounding a house, setting your cordon, if you're part of the inner cordon where you're facing in towards the house, you want a nice piece of cover between you. With these police vehicles, that'd be the engine block. You also want a long gun, something for standoff distance. This guy has a shotgun. He's going to come around to the near side. And just look at the time up there. Got 7:40 and 11 seconds. He's fishing in his vehicle. Who knows what he's doing? He's probably actually loading it. I couldn't really tell if he came away with a rifle. But not limiting his exposure in any which way. Not moving with any kind of urgency. Just kind of back to the objective. Not exactly coming ready, but then again, it's not just morning for the perps, it's morning for the officers too. Some of these guys probably just got out of their briefing and they hit the road and then they get the call to respond to the house. Because you could tell with the staggered infill, it wasn't exactly deliberate. This is basically an on-order mission. And now the whole morning force, it seems, the whole morning shift is here. Spoiler alert, it's for a crackhead who did a carjacking in the town over. And got a pretty good feeling that this is the guy from earlier this year who attempted murder on the other asshole that shacks up there and does drugs. So the dog warden's back. This time they took custody of 2 of the Cane Corsos. And the house is pretty well boarded up because of all the breaching. And in the aftermath, there's still a couple vehicles and, of course, WKBN on the scene to get some pictures for the reports later. 2 hours later, last few vehicles are getting ready to pull off. And it was pretty much an all-day affair. People coming in, coming out, doing the evictions. You can see they breached the garage there, breached the side door. Got the no trespassing signs up. That's good to know. Let's turn on the torch. Do not enter. And breach the front door. Huh.
Matthew McCracken was in court, charged with robbery and assault. Struthers police say he jumped into someone else's running car Thursday morning at a gas station on Youngstown Poland Road. A man tried to stop him, but was dragged several feet before McCracken got away. He said he would surrender if officers would let him smoke crack cocaine. They didn't, but managed to take him into custody. McCracken's bond today was set at $150,000.